Good morning, guys. Friday morning. I forgot to mention in my video yesterday, happy Thanksgiving to my American friends. I did put it in the description on the video, but I forgot to mention it. So last night I was having a couple of pops and I was staring at this 1970 Datsun 510 two-door sedan, and I played around a little bit more. In the previous video I showed you a little bit of sanding and I tried a couple of things. Well, that spot I sanded it with 2,000. I brought it up to 3,000 and laid the buffer to it again, and man, it comes out really nice. So the owner of the car was just here, and I told him my plan. I think I can save a good chunk of this paint job. I'm only going to paint what's necessary to paint, but the bottom line is, it's at the end of the day, it's the same amount of work really, except I'm spending time with a buffer instead of a spray gun. And he still would have had to cut and polish it after anyway. So it's actually saving time and for the same money. I mean, the shine on this thing is good. There's almost no orange peel. There's a little bit of dust and some runs. And like I said, if the only thing I did do, and it was my bad when I tried the dual action sander on it, I sanded through. So you can just barely see the primer coming through. So I'm definitely going to have to paint that section of the quarter panel for sure. But as far as the rest of it goes, I don't know. I might be able to save it all. There's a good chance I could sand through on the other side because there's row after row after row of runs. But I'm going to use the old Sharpie trick, and I'm going to color this whole car black and sand it out. So I'll be going on that. And on top of that, there's that black door right behind me here. That's for an F-250. That truck's coming here tomorrow to swap the door and load the guts into it. So there's that. And I'm also going to a friend of mine's place, and he's got a rack that's set up to hold all kinds of parts for painting. And right now I've got doors, hoods, trunk lids, all kinds of crap all over the shop. I want to be able to put things on a rack and complete paint, like both sides. Put a door on, be able to paint the whole door in one shot instead of one side, let it dry, mask it off, flip it over, blah blah blah. It's going to cut my work time on a door by 2/3. So yeah, getting that rack is important. Once I get it here, we're going to put that together too, and I want to see exactly what it is. It's a homemade job. Apparently it's all adjustable and everything else, and it's heavy enough that he actually hung a rear differential off it to paint it. So it's going to take a load, right? Because a 9-inch Ford rear end is not light. So there's a lot of stuff going on. So stick around and let's just get to it. All right, I'm going to do a panel at a time. I've got to run out to the dollar store and pick up a whole bunch of these big ass Sharpies. Get them at the dollar store, package of 3 or 5 or whatever, and for a few bucks. But I'm going to start with the fender. I'm going to do a panel at a time, and let's just get after it. I'm going to color the whole damn thing in. Almost feel like you're vandalizing the vehicle when you do this, but there we go. So we just keep on going. I'm going to get this whole thing in. When my buddy comes by later, I'm going to tell him, the guy wants a color change. He wanted to go black, so that's my first coat. Hey, so I think you get the idea. I'm just going to keep on going until it's all done. When I get it all black, I'll come back and we'll start sanding this thing out. Alright, so I've done my coloring. what I'm going to start with is 600, just to knock down the heavy stuff, and you'll be able to see the imperfections pretty quickly. Here's the trick though as well. That's a steel, a 1/2 inch by 1.5 inch steel tubing, and there's no give to this, so you know, it's better than a rubber block, especially when you're doing this kind of stuff. You want something good and firm, so steel is the way to go. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to go over real quick, and I'll show you what all the little imperfections are showing up, nice and close. This had this 600 wet paper. 2 advantages to wet paper: no dust, probably the biggest one, and you have good control over it. And the paper, I always like to put a little bit of dish soap in my water. It helps keep the paper from clogging up on you. Okay, get a close up of this. So you can see, you know, spots like that. There's some dust there, a little bit of a run here, some funky stuff going on there and here. But this should all sand out. So I'm going to carry on with sanding until I get it all down to the yellow, get rid of the black. I'm going to go over it with 1000, then 2000, and up to 3000. And then we're going to throw the buffer on it and see how it comes out. Alright, so as you can see, I'm almost through all the stuff. I just switched now to 1000, and you know, I did right here. So this is good here. I got one little spot right there. Anyway, I'm going to go back with the 1000. Should take care of any of the black that's left showing. Then I can go over it with 2 and 3000, and yeah, we should be just about there. So far, no catastrophes, no disasters. Yeah, it's cleaning up nicely. So if we sand through, we sand through, and I got to paint it, whatever, but I'm hoping not to. All right, so you can see all the black is gone, and that's up to 2000 right now. So I'm going to go over it with 3000, and yeah, give it a good rub with 3000, and then it should be ready to throw the buffer on. Well, hopefully this all works out. You want to try and stay away from getting any black on the top edge, like right on the, you know, right on the corner here. Tough place to buff. Same with at this edge. I slipped over with the marker and went on this edge a little bit, but was able to get it off without any issues. So yeah, altogether I got about 45 minutes into this one little piece. So, you know, it's going to take some time. It's not something you do in 5 minutes here. So, and if you want it to come out right, you got to put the time in. So yeah, 3000 is next, and then buffing time. All right, so here's my 3000. This is actually a disc made for a DA sander with a rubber pad. I'm just doing it by hand. Hard to cause damage with 3000 grit. It's like rubbing it with a sponge, really. All I'm trying to do here is take any of the scratches out from the coarse paper I used already, the 2000. And you can hear it cutting. And after it goes kind of silent, you don't hear it cutting anymore. It means you're good. Now hopefully, when I put the buffer on it, it comes out like it looks wet. Ah, damn it. I know you can't hear it because my furnace is on, but I can hear it cutting. All right. I'll get my buffing machine out and see what we can, the end result is going to be. All right, so got it all done, 3000. This is what I'm using. I've tried this. This is an extra cut compound, but it's actually what they call a diminishing abrasive. So as you're working it, the abrasive breaks down, and you end up with a nice shine. I also washed up the pad a little bit on my buffer. You get dried up stuff on it, and it ends up making marks in it. Hey, you need a good clean rag. Hold on there. So, it's getting there. But it's going to take a few more minutes yet. So, I'm going to do it off camera. And when I get it nice and shiny, show you what it looks like. Okay, so I can report that I have been unsuccessful. Again, that's 0 for 2 as far as keeping the paint. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a spot right there. It's just a little bit darker. That is primer showing through the paint. So I sanded through. The reason I sanded through is because actually, I don't know if you can see it on camera, there's a small dent right there. And where the dark spot is, see how the light's distorted there? That's also a small dent. So I got 2 little dents here and here. So I can probably sand them out without using any filler, but it's going to need a paint job. So yeah, fender's got to be painted or repainted. So between this panel and the top of that panel over there, where also the primer is showing through, where I used the machine, that's 2 panels that I'm going to have to repaint. So I'm losing, but whatever. I mean, this thing came in for a paint job. I was hoping to save some of it, but we'll see. So far, like I said, I'm 0 for 2. Anyway, I'm stepping out for a bit because I'm going to go pick up a couple of racks for, well, a rack for to hang parts off of. It was offered to me for the right price, $0, my favorite price, and yeah, I'm gonna go pick them up. Damn shame, I was so close, you know, but a couple of dents are a couple of dents. What are you gonna do? They just didn't show before until I sanded it. So anyway, caught it now. We want this thing to be straight and right on. So yeah, we'll fix those dents up. All right, so I just got back. It turns out it was 2 racks, not 1. And I'd gotten a buddy of mine to come pick me up with his truck because my truck's full of shit in the back. And still haven't unloaded the last load I got. But I really didn't need it. I could have put it in my seat, really. But anyway, these 2 racks, I'll show you what that's all about. When we got to the guy's place, he had it all assembled. The one rack is like 8 feet tall and about, I don't know, 4.5 feet wide, maybe 5 feet. And it's got all kinds of hooks and hanging things on it and everything else. It's pretty cool. And it disassembles in about 1.5 minutes. The one rack is pretty cool. I'll show you this one. I don't know if you can see that. Let me check it out here. I'll tilt the camera down just a bit. There we go. Oh, it sits on here like so. And you can spin it around. You hang all kinds of stuff off with wire, whatever. Awesome. So there's one. The other rack is in this box here. It weighs nothing. I can carry it myself. All the ends are lettered or numbered. How they go together. Like I said, it was all assembled when I got there. Yeah, it's a very cool piece. So when I get it assembled, I'll show you what it's all about. But now I got racks that I can hang doors and all kinds of stuff off of. So awesome. Very cool. Okay, so here's the other rack. So it stands about 7'6" high. And there's a bunch of hooks and stuff that you can hang off the side. There's spots for wire and whatever. These are some of the hooks and brackets. Stuff like this. So if you line up the holes properly, you can just hook that onto there like so. Hang stuff off of that. Yeah, it's going to be handy. So Right on. Very cool. Took me about, well, I didn't exactly hook it up correctly. I didn't follow the instructions. Real men don't use instructions. Um, they're all lettered. I mismatched some of them, but I got pretty much the idea of how it goes together. I think maybe I'll mark them maybe a little bit different because I seem to be confused as to some of the letters. But whatever, it is what it is. But yeah, it's pretty cool. And once all these holes are secured and it's bolted through, there's a bag of bolts there too. Should be a good solid piece. So anyway, I'm gonna probably knock it down for now, but just because it's taking up some space, or maybe I can just slide it over somewhere and out of the way. Anyway, there we go. 2 racks for parts. So there you go. 2 for 2 with the racks, 0 for 2 with the panels on the car so far. The car came in for a paint job, so I was hoping to save some time and money and get the guy further ahead. If it could have just polished out, it would have been ideal. But so far it's not happening. I couldn't see those dents. There was runs right there where those 2 dents are, and it kind of concealed them. So I sanded the snot out of it, and I ended up sanding through. It is what it is. So we at least got to paint those 2 panels for sure, and I suspect it'll probably be more. There's a lot more runs on the driver's side rear quarter. Getting all of those out without sanding through is going to be, yeah, it'll be iffy. Anyway, but I got 2 cool racks to hang parts off of to paint, and that's awesome. I'm going to make some mods to the big one. I want to be able to spray both sides of the door at the same time, and without hanging it off a wire. I want to hang it off something a little more solid. Might make a crosser go right through all 3 posts, the center one and the 2 outside posts, and have something come off of there to kind of hold the doors and support them. Yeah. So if you like the content, please subscribe. Tell your buddies and chums. Help me get to 3,000 subscribers. I'm at I need 120 more, and it would be awesome to have that before Christmas. So if you want to get Dirty Dan something for Christmas, there you go. Help me get to 3,000. You can also go in the what they call the super fans or super thanks, little red S in the lower right corner of your screen. You can go there and buy Dan a coffee if you want. I'd appreciate that. And don't forget to leave comments and like the channel and all those good things that add to the algorithm. And yeah. And if you're not doing anything else, get out in the garage and build something, man. Later, guys.